Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. So I was gonna stream this live, but YouTube seems to be acting up, so I'll just record it to be safe. Not that matters about anything. So we're playing a Darkest Dungeon today, which is really, it's a game that should appeal to me in every way. Like, it ticks all sorts of boxes. And yet I've never really gotten into it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe because of the difficulty. But anyways, the reason we're playing Darkest Dungeon is because it has connection to the role manging videos, my bad, that I put out this week. And so we'll talk about that later. I don't know. So, alright. This week on this channel, I did a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. Final Fantasy 2 is ongoing as we speak, and so that'll continue for a while, probably another couple weeks, and then we go into Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my god. So that's cool. Not a whole lot to say about that.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
And we also did some of the Bloodborne lore edition, which will be here and there. At this point, I have I've really started to write the script for that video. And so
Finding the stuff is only the first test.
Really, I already wrote the entire part of the script where I go through the plot of Bloodborne for those unfamiliar with it. So now it's just putting all the connections to Cthulhu Mythos in. And so I mean, we'll keep the playthrough going for a while, but I really just have to focus on what the hell I'm trying to say.
Another one falls.
Yeah, what else? We had the role manging. We did not have a actual RPG session this week, unfortunately.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the
Phil was just sick the whole week, I guess. God knows why. So, on Thursday then, we talked about maybe doing like a Roll20 thing, but I guess some people do not care for that. And, I mean, I prefer being around a table, sure, but that's not always an option. But instead we played Tales of Arabian Nights, which is always a fun time. It's really just a go-to three-player game. I thought about recording or streaming it, but I'm pretty sure I've done that in the past. Almost certainly on another night when an RPG night was canceled and we played Tales instead, so the same thing.
Precision and power.
But we had a good time. It was fun stuff.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And so that was that. And I guess that's about it for this channel. On the Exploring series, now I'm in just my full swing of making videos, because my goal is to basically wrap up this whole series by the end of January-ish. And so I have to pump out pretty much 3 videos a week until the end of January, so it's quite a bit of effort. It's a lot of juggling. You know, I've got like multiple scripts that I'm working on at the same time, and it's a pain. But on the other hand, you know, this time of year is when ad revenue rates are the highest because of Christmas and all that, so there is a side benefit, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So I got Azura and Boethia done for the Daedric Princes. We put out the video on Nords. And then this week, I worked on the Tiber Septim video, so that'll be going out tomorrow. And then I'm going to be working on the Clavicus Vial video. I'm going to start writing that tonight. So that should come out like Wednesday, I think, for everyone. And then I also have to work on the next one, which I don't even know what the next one is. I try not to think ahead. I'm just going alphabetical. Oh, good job, buddy. It's real great. But yeah, the Elder Scrolls series has been going on for quite a while now, a number of months, and so we're in the home stretch ish. We'll see how it goes. You guys need to eat again? You didn't do anything. I don't think you want to do it without a key. Great. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Not much else to say. We're closing in. I think I'm about to hit... I think by the end of today, I'll probably hit 95,000 subscribers, so that's cool. So we're definitely closing in. It seems pretty likely at this point in December I'll hit 100K. Very exciting. You gotta eat again? And yeah, I suppose that's that.
A decisive pummeling. Back to the pit.
Okay, so what else then? Board gaming this week. we played, well, Tales of Arabian Nights, as I mentioned, which was fun. It's really just a great 3-player game. You play, a few times a year. You don't put too much thought into it. It's not like you're really trying to min-max or be competitive and really try to win. It's sort of like a really light RPG that you just sit there and you just have fun with it. And so that's what we did. That's what we did. Yesterday, however, we played another game of Cosmic Encounter. Really just the go-to Saturday game. Because we all know how to play it. It's always a good time. It takes the right amount of time. And it's just great. I love Cosmic. It was a pretty interesting game. 5-player game. I had Glutton and the Nanny. So I was a fat nanny. Glutton's pretty simple. You just... Anytime you take a ship from the warp, you get 2 extra ships. Anytime you draw a card from anywhere, you get to take 2 extra cards from the same source. So your opening hand, whenever you get a reward, whenever you take cards from another player, you get 2 extra cards. And so, by itself, that's okay. It comes up once in a while, but combined with some other alien that lets you take cards, crazy. Absolutely crazy. And so that's what the Nanny did, is let me take cards, because...
Trinkets and charms gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
What the Nanny did is, basically, if I was not a main player, I could give either of the main players a negotiate card from my hand, and then I give them like this special Nanny card, and I had like a little deck of those. And on each Nanny card there was an incentive and a punishment. And so the incentive was something good, punishment was something bad, obviously. And so if they played a negotiate card as their encounter card for the battle, they got the incentive. Otherwise, they got the punishment. And I wanted them to use the negotiate to get the incentive, because then I got a reward, meaning I got to draw a card from one of the decks. But because of Glutton, I got to draw 2 extra cards. So that means anytime I did that and they played a negotiate, I got to draw 3 cards from the deck, which meant, yeah, I was hovering around 20 cards in my hand for most of the game. It was pretty crazy. And so the incentives varied. Usually they got to, like, take ships back from the warp, or draw cards, or they could discard cards from their hands if they wanted to, things like that. But really, most of the time, they just did it to avoid the punishment, which was losing ships to the warp, sometimes losing, like, a whole colony to the warp. I got to steal cards from them, or they were forced to discard half their hand. And in addition, all the punishments contained a timeout. So if they didn't play a negotiate, they were on timeout. Usually for, like, 1 encounter. Which meant they could not participate in the game in any way, shape, or form. We basically decided they did not exist in that game, because it also said that they could not talk and we could not talk to them. So they did not exist while they were in timeout. And so missing an encounter is bad enough, but if it was the offense and it was like their turn, they did their first encounter, but then I put them in timeout, they lose their second encounter. Their turn ends, which is really devastating, because having a second encounter is really important a lot of the time to helping you win. And so, yeah, it was, Okay. That was a lot of money. And so, yeah, so it was a really interesting dynamic for most of the game because I tended to, you know, to have people to do the incentives a lot because they wanted to avoid the punishment. So that gave me just a shit ton of cards. I really was quite powerful with my big hand of cards. But also if I was involved in the battle as an ally, you know, I could use the incentive or punishment to sort of sway the battle a little bit. You know, if a person felt they might lose anyways, they might as well play the negotiate to get the incentive and avoid the punishment, and so on and so forth. It was a really interesting dynamic. It was a lot of fun. I liked the combo.
She is a stalwart survivor.
But I didn't end up winning, which was a bummer. It came down to...
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same.
It was pretty much just the same as the last game, where it was like, well, if I had one more turn, if it just got around one more turn to me, I could have won. But even worse, I actually fucked myself. I made a poor decision, a completely stupid decision, and that cost me the game. It pretty much came down to the rule where you can only...
With enough ale, maybe they can be inured against the horrors below.
You can only use a single flare per encounter. And with a game where everyone has double aliens, that means there's 4 flares in the deck per player, which is a lot of shit. So you're going to end up with multiple flares in your hand, most likely. And you're going to have an encounter where multiple flares can be useful. And so it's really important to decide which one to use and when to use it and things like that. And so I basically cost myself the game because I used the wrong flare without even thinking that I couldn't use the other one later, when it ended up being really useful. It was a fun game. Mert ended up winning just because, for some reason, his hand seemed like stacked. I have no idea how he got so many cards. I guess because he was the bride, and so he ended up divorcing people and taking half of their cards. And another player was the mimic, and so he was mimicking people's hand sizes, so he kept drawing a lot of cards from that. And so there was just a lot of cards involved, and for some reason Mert ended up with a far better hand than I did, which I was shocked by. One of the encounters, he laid down like 10 reinforcement cards. I don't even know, he just kept on throwing them out there. It was all 4 of us just trying to offset this, and he won, like, by him. It was insane. He was defending his own thing. It was like this battle did not matter, but he prevented us all from getting a colony. So I guess it did matter. He ended up winning. I don't know, man. I don't know how it works, but he made it work. Anyways, it was a fun game. Always enjoy a good game of Cosmic Encounter. Perhaps you should... I mean, maybe this is not worth the money. Yeah, it was good. So, role-manging RPGs this week. So I discovered, if you watch the videos, then you understand. But if you did not, I discovered Shadow of the Demon Lord this week, and so I've just been reading everything about this game voraciously. Just so much RPG reading, and sometimes I have trouble getting into reading an RPG rulebook and things like that. Like, sometimes it just doesn't really grab me, and it just seems kind of like a slog to get through just to learn the game. And other times it's like they can't print enough material. I just keep going, just keep reading. It's really interesting. And so, Blades in the Dark... Blades in the Dark, I really like the concept of it. This guy sucks ass. Here we go. You throw this guy in there. Sure. Maybe I should get this guy in there. Sure. Forefront. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I got a camp. What was I talking about? Right, I really like the concept of Blaze in the Dark, but the problem is... Well, for one, I really approve of the setting most of all. I think the setting is fantastic. The actual game itself, I mean, it gets just rave reviews, and you know, people are all loving it and things like that. But something about it just seems so gamified to me. It just doesn't.
As a twitch in the leg of a dead rat.
I mean, maybe I would just have to house rule some of it to just make it more free flowing and just sort of an open concept than it is.
Only the mad or the desperate go in search of him.
I guess it's kind of like... It's kind of like Sprawl, whereas like Sprawl really interested me, but in order for us to really enjoy it, we had to house rule some things. We had to fix some things and change some stuff around in order to make it the game that we all really enjoyed. I guess Blaze in the Dark is kind of like that, except they seem to all enjoy it, which is good, and I would very much like to play it with Ziggy DMing it so I could really get into it to see if I really enjoy playing it as well. But DMing it just did not excite me the way that I kind of hoped. What the fuck? A bookshelf. What would you do? Was that holy water on a bookshelf? I don't know. No. That was just a waste. That's why you should look that up before you do that. But anyways, so yeah, it just, I wasn't like crazy about it. I didn't really even like finish reading the book. And I was just muddling about with Blades. And I would have ran it a few more sessions, just because they were really enjoying it. But then I discovered Shadow the Demon Lord, and I was reading this, and it's just like, I don't know if I've ever been so hyped about an RPG, which is crazy. It's just another D20 system fantasy, but it does so much right that I can't help but be excited. And so at first I was like, okay guys, I decided we're gonna do like one more session of Blades. You know, just one more. And they were like, okay, one more. And then last night, you know, I'm reading like all through these starting adventures for characters and things like that, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna run this one shot right away instead of doing one more session of Blades. And I feel bad because I know they're enjoying it, and I think they'll enjoy Shadow, perhaps even more, I would hope. But you feel bad to be the one that's just responsible for stopping some fun. But in my opinion, the DM's excitement about the game is the most important thing. If the DM is not excited about the game he's running, then everything is going to fall apart. It doesn't matter how excited the players are with what they're playing. The DM is generally the driving force here. And I know all players should be equal, but really, all players should be having fun with what they're doing. That's really the golden thing. So it's not even that the DM is more important than the players. It's just if one player is not enjoying what they're doing, you gotta find something that they're all enjoying. And I think the group that we have, everyone tends to go along with whatever the DM wants to run, and we usually just have a good time no matter what. So yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to run a one shot. Probably will end up being 2 sessions. Oh, hold on, we gotta get to this door. Go backwards. There we go. Look at that. We got puzzling trapezohedron. Oh my god. Look at all that. Oh my god. I don't have enough room. Holy shit. Well, these are only worth... Okay, hold on. There we go. Anyways. Where was I? Right, so the one shot that I'm running is called In Need of Killing, I believe. I read through a lot of one-shots, a lot of starting adventures that have been pre-written for this for this system. And even though the system's only a couple years old, there's a whole bunch of adventures of all types, of all levels, and blah, blah, blah. And so... I was debating, you know, just like earlier today about what I really wanted to run here. I was debating between this In Need of Killing, which is sort of just kind of a traditional dungeon crawl. They fight some zombies in a field. The town asks them to go check out this farmhouse that apparently these zombies used to live or something like that. And... they head over to the farmhouse. They find just blood everywhere, all sorts of shit. And then... maintain the offensive. Oh, fuck. I got too much shit. I got too much shit. Can I use this on somebody? There you go. And what is this? Bleed skill chance -1 speed. Can I give this to this guy? Sure. Can I use a key? There you go. Get food out of it. Nice. And so they find inside the farmhouse there's like a trap door, and it's wide open, so they'll find it. And they go down this ladder, and they find two men like standing guard in black robes, and they have like baby masks on, so it's like the Purge or something like that, or the Strangers, I guess. So they have like these weird like baby masks on, and so they'll have to kill the cultists. And then they tumble sort of into this ancient tomb. that a couple of other cultists, including the head cultists, are currently exploring. So at some point while they're wandering around this tomb, they'll bump into the 2 other cultists. And basically, at that point, it's like a traditional dungeon crawl. There's a bunch of rooms and corridors. There's traps. There's some... not really puzzles. It's pretty minor. And, yeah, so it's sort of a traditional dungeon crawl, but there's some, like, demonic shit. There's giant spiders. There's skeletons. It should be pretty interesting overall. The other one that I was debating about was...
Another abomination.
they are going through these woods, like these haunted woods, with a caravan, when suddenly the caravan gets ambushed by bandits. And so they, at the start, they basically run off into the woods in terror, I guess. And so the actual one-shot starts with them in the woods, in the middle of the woods. And basically they are trying to go north to get out, but they're not, like...
Worldly corruption.
They have to roll to see if they actually go in the direction they chose to go, because they might wander off in some other direction without realizing it, and so they can get lost in the woods. And that excited me at first because there was a bunch of stuff they could put in the woods, but mostly they're just fighting like a lot of bandits. There's like 20 bandits living in the woods, and so there's some other stuff. There's like a shapeshifter who during the day is like a naked woodsman, but at night he turns into like a possum shape-shifting beast. So there's that, but overall I figured the other one was a better display of the system and the setting and its sort of dark horror aspects than the woods one.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
This voice actor.
Towering, fierce, terrible, nightmare-made material.
The third one that I looked at that actually did excite me, I thought it was pretty good, was basically they start out being... they are slaves. They've been captured by orcs. And... they're like pulling wagons along with a bunch of other slaves, and there's like 12 orcs that are just like whipping them with chains and things like that they have to they're like being physically exerted, and they have to roll to avoid fatigue and being whipped and stuff like that. And they have to figure out how to escape, and there's some characters involved with them that are looking to escape as well, and so potentially they have multiple avenues in which they can figure out to escape, and that concept did intrigue me. The idea of trying to escape from enslavement by orcs and maybe leading a revolt or things like that. The problem with it was way too short. It's really like, it seems like an actual one shot, like this would take one session, which is fine, you know, for an introduction to a campaign. That's fine, but I'm actually just trying to run like a single adventure. It just does not strike me as an adventure in itself. It's an introduction to an adventure or a campaign. Um, I see. I don't have enough AoE. Fuck. That's
Slowly,
not what I needed to have happen.
this is how a life is taken.
Um, but yeah, I'm really excited about the whole system. I'm really running it just because Ziggy's not planning to run anything until January, and so I basically need to just fill the time until he does that, until he comes back into action. And that's right now. It's really the only thing that I'd really love to run. So I'm doing that. But I'm very, very much looking forward to his campaign and being actually able to play when we get around to that. But yeah, I mean, I made 2 very lengthy videos about the whole system, and I easily could have made a 3rd video. Probably another hour long or something like that. It really would not have been a big problem. But yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting stuff.
A singular strike.
Nice, nice, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I guess that's all there really is to say about roll manging. I don't know if there's anything else to say. Kill him. Big heal. Damn it.
Unbalanced. A death by inches.
Got him.
No living sinew to actuate them.
Got him.
Will these walking bones finally fail?
I'm gonna give this to somebody. It's not very good. We'll sell it. Is it worth? What the hell's a journal page? Well, I get rid of all my food anyways, so that's why I can't. But we can eat it. Look at that, we can eat food. Doesn't matter, we're ending this. Great. Yeah, I guess there's not much else to say. Short hanging with Mangg. I mean, I could talk about Shadow the Demon Lord for a long time here if you wanted, but I guess I talked about it quite a bit. But yeah, I guess that'll be tomorrow, hopefully. I'm really banking on it. I might go mad. If it doesn't happen, I need some Demon Lord shit. Yeah, that's usually how this goes. We discussed everything. So yeah, check out the Tiber Septum video tomorrow. Got some more Daedric Princes coming over there. Some more Final Fantasy and Bloodborne. And that's about it, I guess. I mean, Final Fantasy is... I'm glad that I have so many videos ready, since I'm spending a lot of evenings working on exploring scripts and things like that, so it's nice to be able to just put a video up every night. But alright. I guess that's a short one. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg, and I'll see you fine folks next week.